All right, cool. So happy Tuesday. I'm Brigham Joy. I'm the I guess founder and owner of America's Team. And what we'll do today is I'll give you guys a little bit of history of our program, and then we'll go over some frequently asked questions. And then after that, I'll just turn you guys loose and let you guys fire away with your questions, and we'll go from there. So how this whole thing got started was I played small college baseball here in Kansas and got the opportunity to go to Germany and play ball. And guys, it is the coolest thing I've ever done. And it really has nothing to do with baseball. I went overseas as a 21-year-old just thinking I'm there to play baseball. But the second day we were in Germany, they took us to the Dachau concentration camp, and that rocked my world. I mean, it was like the good Lord just came down and shook me and said, "Hey, there's a big world out here. You need to go see it." So that was my life-changing aha moment. So long story short, go back to school, graduate college, get a job, and quickly realize working sucks. Like, I don't recommend it to anybody. So at 26, I decide that, you know what, if I have to work, I might as well do something that I love. So I started taking baseball teams overseas. And that was 18 years ago, because now you're looking at a 44-year-old kid. And we've been lucky enough to grow this thing to baseball, softball, basketball, and volleyball. And guys, my goal is simply to give other kids like you the same opportunity I had. So that's my story. But today's about your story. What can we do to help you go see the world, help you put the USA on your chest, and help you grow? So that's our goal. So that's the history of our program. Now, some frequently asked questions. The first one is always, how did I get invited? Like, where did you guys find me? And how we get all of our players is we work with college coaches all across the country that send us players that they see out on the recruiting trail, whether they're at tournaments or showcases or online. They send us players that they see, out on the recruiting trail. And the kind of kids that we look for are good athletes who can play multiple positions and mix and match lineups. Because when we build our teams, we want to keep the rosters small to make sure that all of you guys get a lot of playing time. Because I know you guys are going overseas to play ball, not to watch ball. So, for our basketball and volleyball teams, we don't like to carry more than 10. And then for our softball teams, we don't like to carry more than 12. Because again, we want you guys to get a ton of playing time. So in order to do that, we have to have good kids that are good athletes that can play all over the place. So, I'm just checking my notes here. That's why you were invited. That's how we build our teams. Your tour schedule, it's going to run the first 3 days. That's the tournament. That's just like here at home. It's ball all day and all night. You're going to either live at the court or live at the gym, live at the field, playing multiple games per day. And each team is guaranteed a minimum of 6 games. Now, you could get more depending on how your team does in the tournament, but at a minimum, each team will get 6 games. So the first 3 days, it's all sports. You're just going to be living at the gym or at the field. Then once the tournament is over, you can put all your sports gear away, because then it's all about tours and cultural activities and excursions, sightseeing. So you got the first half, it's all sports. Then the second half, it's all culture and sightseeing. So it's 2 smaller tours combined into one. So let's see here. Next is what's included. So I'll go over both what is included and then also what's not included. That way you guys have a clear picture on that. So first, what is included is your flights and hotels, games and uniforms, all the tours and excursions that we take you guys on, your tour bus, your tour manager, breakfast and dinner every day are also included. And even your tips, like your tips to your wait staff, your tour manager, all of that's included also. So that's everything that is included. What is not included is lunch and spending money. So you're going to need lunch money and then spending money for souvenirs and snacks and that kind of stuff. But other than those two items, everything else is included for you. Let's see here. The next thing is, safety and chaperoning. So at a minimum, there'll be 2 chaperones for each team. So the first chaperone, that's the college coach, because all of our teams are led by college coaches. So the first chaperone would be the college coach. And then the second chaperone is we employ a full-time bilingual professional local tour manager. So if you go to Spain, you're going to have a local Spanish tour manager with you 24/7. They're going to run your tour. They're going to take care of all the logistics of calling ahead to make sure the bus is there to pick us up, taking us to the ball games, calling ahead to the restaurants, taking us on all the tours, because I want the college coach focused on you guys. You guys are the focus. That's where I want the college coach's energy. I don't want the college coach trying to figure out where to park the bus or how to get to this restaurant. I want the college coach focused on you. So at a minimum, there'll be 2 chaperones. And the reason I say at a minimum is we average 6 parents that travel with each team. So parents, you guys are more than welcome to travel. And I guess I shouldn't even say just parents. I should say family members, because, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, there's no limit to how many parents or family members that can travel with us. So you guys are more than welcome to travel. The cost for a family member is the same as a player, and that guarantees you everything that they get. You just don't get to play. So same hotel, flights, meals, tours, you get everything. They'll just go to the gym, you'll go to the bleachers, or to the softball field and to the bleachers. But yeah, you guys are more than welcome to travel. All right, so let's see. The next thing is people want to know, how will this help with college recruiting? And a couple ways it'll help with college. So first, you're getting to play in front of college coaches, for the entire tournament. So you're going to get that exposure there. But even more importantly, you're going to get to network with college coaches all week. And what you guys may not realize is that the coaching network is so small and so tight, they all know each other. So let's say, for example, say I'm a 2026 shooting guard. Well, maybe the coach that's coaching me in Australia, he's already signed a 2026 shooting guard. So he's not looking for somebody like me, but he's going to know 10 other coaches that are looking for a 2026 shooting guard. So you guys can expand your network that way by meeting these college coaches. And that's probably even more beneficial than just playing in front of the college coaches. So that's how you're going to help yourself in the recruiting process. Well, let's see here. All right. Registration deadline. So for players, and I'm going to cover players first, and then I'll cover family members second. So players, you have 30 days from when you got your invitation to lock in your spot. So for example, if you got your invitation yesterday, August 21st, your deadline is going to be September 21st to register and pay your deposit. So that's the deadline for the players, is you have 30 days to, lock in your spot. And then after that 30 days, you can still sign up, but we can't guarantee your spot because we will have moved on and started recruiting another kid to fill that position. So that's for the kids is 30 days. And we'll continue to send you guys, follow-up text messages pointing at that deadline. Now, the sense of urgency is getting the players signed up, to lock in their spot on that team. Family members, you guys have some time. So family members, as long as you get signed up by January 1st, you're perfectly fine. So again, family members can take your time, sign up later this fall. The sense of urgency is getting the kids signed up to lock in their spot on that team. So that's registration deadline. And then your payment schedule looks like this. So when you register, $495 is due. That's your deposit. Then by January 1st, you'll have need to paid a total of $1495. Then your final payment deadline depends on when you travel. So if you travel in June, your final payment is going to be due February 15th. If you travel in July, your final payment deadline is going to be March 1st. If you travel in August, your final payment deadline will be April 1st. So it depends on when you travel, that dictates your final payment deadline. So let's see here. I think that's everything that all the FAQs. I know some of you guys have shot in some questions on the chat, so I'll open that up and see what these are. Okay. So that question is, where would parents stay, players room together? So parents and rooming, this is completely up to you guys. If you want to room with your kid, you absolutely can. I would encourage you to let the kids room with their teammates. But again, your desire as a parent trumps my recommendation as a tour operator because they're your kids. So if you want to room with them, that's perfectly fine. Rooming's really, it's up to you guys. Let's see here. Next one. How do we know the quality of the team? How do we know our player is not going to be with players that are not as competitive? Well, I would turn it around on you and say, what if your kid is the lowest one on the totem pole? But in all fairness, that's a good question because all of our players, they project out to be small college players, D2, D3, NAI type level kids. So I would tell you this is if your son or daughter, if they are truly a legit Power 5 conference kid, like if they're Power 5 conference, you probably shouldn't go with us because they're going to be head and shoulders better than everybody else. But if your kid projects out to be, a small college player, even we get mid-major kids, so if that's them, then they're a great fit for us. But if they truly are Power 5 level, they should probably not go because they will be head and shoulders above the rest of our kids. But that's a fair question. Let's see, what's the next one? If my daughter was asked to go to Australia, but due to conflicts of dates, can she be considered for summer of 2025? So yeah, Phyllis, a couple answers there is yes, if 2024 doesn't work, she can go in 2025. Absolutely. The other option I would throw out there is if the dates for Australia don't work, we have teams going to other destinations. So and I'm going to put my email in the chat here. So if you got an invitation to a country that either the dates don't work or you'd rather go play somewhere else, just send me an email and I can get you an invitation to another destination because I don't want to make you guys like if you're uncomfortable making the 15-hour flight to Australia, but you'd rather do the 8-hour flight to Barcelona, that's cool. We can send you to Barcelona or our German team, So I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable. So if you got an invitation and you'd rather go to another country, just shoot me an email and we can invite you to one of those teams. So let me type in my email address real quick here. There you go. All right. Let's see. All right, let's see. Next. Okay, how do you pull a team with positions? What if 10 outside hitters sign up? And then what are the ages? So let's cover the ages of the kids first. So all of our players are high school age kids, from freshmen all the way up to graduating seniors. So what we'll do to make sure that we don't get 10 outside hitters on one team is, let's say, for example, we're building the teams going to Italy. So let's say we get 30 kids that sign up to go to Italy. So we're going to take those 30 kids and we're going to divide those kids by position, to make sure that we, again, don't have 10 outsides on one team and then 10, liberos on another team. So we'll divide those kids out by position to make those teams as evenly as possible. So that's how we'll do that. All right. Tim wants to know, can you talk about the competition level and how selective this opportunity is per sport? Are we talking about hundreds of kids or a few dozen? So yeah, I can answer that, Tim. So what we found is, for a volleyball team, it takes about 120 invitations to build a team of 10, because we have about an 8% close rate. Because, the elephant in the room is the money. We know that every kid would want to do this, but not every family has $5,000 sitting in their send my kid to Europe fund. So it is a numbers game, and we found that it takes about 120 invitations to build that volleyball team. So, and I guess I'll expand on that too. With softball, it takes about 150 invitations because we carry 12 kids versus 10. And then with basketball, it's about 120 kids also. So we average about an 8% close ratio. All right. So how will players meet in advance to establish roommates? So two answers there. Roommates, we just randomly assign them unless you've got somebody that you want to room with, then you can request that. So, and then the other question is, how do they meet in advance? So once the kids sign up, we divide them into teams and then we assign the college coach to each team. Once we assign that college coach, the college coach reaches out to all the kids to introduce themselves and then start connecting the kids to build that team bonding. So that's how you guys will meet in advance. Is, my goal for all the kids and the coaches is, I want you guys to know each other before you guys meet each other, if that makes sense. So you guys are going to get to meet each other. We try and assign our coaches by the 1st of December. So you've got the entire winter and spring to get to know each other. And yeah, I guess you could request roommates if you want to, but otherwise we just randomly put kids together on teams. So that's how we do that. So let's see here. Megan wants to know, what happens if the team can't recruit enough girls? I guess, let's say that did happen. If we weren't able to get enough kids to go, we would send you guys a full refund. That won't happen. And the reason I say that is, let's see, in the Dominican and Costa Rica, we're going to take 4 teams. Italy can handle 3 teams. Germany can handle 6. Spain can handle 8, Australia can handle 8. So when we're talking about putting these teams together for tournaments, you know, let's see, Italy is our smallest venue. So we're shooting to recruit at least 30 kids on volleyball and basketball. If we only ended up with 20 or 10, we'd only take 1 or 2 teams versus the 3 that we're planning on. So that won't be an issue, but for argument's sake, if it is, like if we literally didn't have enough kids to play, we would just cancel the team and give you guys a full refund, but that won't happen. All right, so is the airfare to the departure city included, or are we able to fly out of another airport? So good question. So let's see here. Let's say we're going to Australia and we're going to fly everybody to Los Angeles. So I'm from Kansas City. Let's say we have another kid from Chicago and then another kid from Boise, Idaho. So what you're going to do when you register, you're going to select, the kid from Boise is going to select Boise. I'm going to select Kansas City. The kid from Chicago is going to select Chicago as their departure city. We're going to fly you from your departure city to LA. Everybody's going to meet at LAX, and then together you'll fly from LA to Australia. So that's how the flight logistics work. As far as pricing, every airport has its own unique cost. So like Kansas City might be $6,600. Chicago might be $6,550, and then Boise might be $6,700. They're all going to have their own unique cost. They're all going to be in the same ballpark. So each airport has its own cost, but they're all fairly close. Let's see here. Okay, then you also wanted to know, is there any type of form letter I can provide to potential donors? Yes, there is. So once you sign up, you're going to have a donation letter and then an online fundraising tool. And I'm going to put this in the chat so you guys can get the link to the fundraising page here. Because ACIS has it's like a GoFundMe where you can set up an online fundraising page. And unlike GoFundMe, GoFundMe charges a 10% commission on all the money you raise. ACIS does not charge a commission, so you get credit for all the money raised. So you guys, I just put that into the chat. All right, so let's see here. All right, so Donald says, my daughter was originally invited to play basketball in the Dominican, but Coach Jaderson would like her to go to Spain. Can she get another invite to Spain? Absolutely. Donald, I threw my email address into the chat. Shoot me an email and I can get you the invitation to go play with Dean. So let's see. Also, I see the trip leaves from New York City. We live in Louisiana. So again, circling back to that flight deal, you guys would, select either New Orleans or Baton Rouge or whatever airport is closest to you guys, and we'll fly you from Louisiana overseas. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm going to put my email address in there again because it looks like I just sent it to Donald, so that's my bad. All right, so this should be coming to everyone. All right. Hopefully everybody has my email address now. All right, so Rylan wants to know, is there any access to financial aid? Yes, Rylan, I put the link in there to the fundraising program that ACIS has. Then LK wants to know, on average, about how many players go without a parent How many travel alone or go with a parent? How many travel alone? It's about 50-50 because we average 6 parents that travel with each team. So about half the kids bring a parent, half don't. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that's the question there. Did you include your email? Yes, I finally did. Um, is it possible to not return from Italy with the team and travel elsewhere? Yes, absolutely. So let's say you guys want to extend your stay. Um, what you would do is you would complete the alternate return request form, and we can fly you home at a later date, even from a different airport. So, I mean, Michael, you're talking about going to Italy. Let's say you and your family extend and you guys end up in Paris and you want to fly home from Paris a week later. We can do that for you just by filling out that form. And let me grab that link to here. Yep, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see my screen or not, but shoot. Here's the link. All right, so here is the link to that alternate return request form. So cool. So I guess I'll start my close. If you guys have more questions, again, don't hesitate. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'll just so we host these Zoom calls every Tuesday and Thursday. So, if you guys think of more questions later on, hop on another Zoom on Thursday. You can hop on as many Zoom calls as you want, because we're here every Tuesday and Thursday to answer those questions. You will hear my history of America's team again in the beginning. So, maybe you'll be able to recite it if you attend enough of these. Um, but yeah, so hop on as many Zoom calls as you want. If you're ready to sign up and commit to the team, the next step is to register online and pay your deposit to lock in your spot on the team. Again, the sense of urgency is getting the kids signed up to lock in their spot. Family members, if you guys want to travel, that's great. As long as you get signed up by January 1st, that's perfectly fine. Because again, the sense of urgency is getting the kids signed up. Yeah, no problem. So the deposit is $495. So let's see here. Donald wants to know, do we play local teams or from several countries? So that depends. So let me run through all the different locations. Australia, you're looking at our US teams, Australian teams, and then most likely teams from New Zealand. We can't ever, and I guess I should blanket this. We can always guarantee our US teams and our host country teams. We can't guarantee other countries, but in Australia, most of the time we get teams from New Zealand. Then Costa Rica and the Dominican, it's just our US teams and then Costa Rican teams and Dominican teams. Then in our European tours, there is more likelihood that you're going to get more countries involved. Like this last year in Spain, we had teams from, let's see, Spain, Belgium, Israel, and Portugal. Let's see, our German tour, we had teams from Germany, the Czech Republic, and Austria. So again, you're looking at multiple countries. We can't guarantee the other countries. We can always guarantee our US teams and our host country teams. So let's see, Megan, you wanted me to go over the payment schedule again? You bet. So I'll just put it down here in the chat for everybody. So $495 due at registration. $14.95 due by January 1, and then final payment depends on when you travel. So June travel is February 15, July travel March 1, August travel April 1. One more question. What are the softball destinations and travel dates? We got a lot of them, Megan. Email me and I'll send you the softball schedule. So yeah, my email is in the chat. Tim, yes, you are missing something. Shoot me an email with where your son or daughter was invited to play in what sport, and I can get you to the dollar, because our Costa Rica and the Dominican are about $4,000. Then Germany's about 51, Spain's about 54, Italy's about 58, and then Australia is about 65. So, but shoot me an email and I can get you, because it sounds like you're missing you're missing her invitation to see exactly what that cost is, because it'll have to the dollar cost for you. All right, cool, Michael. Have fun. Trying to make sure. Oh, if let's see. LK wants to know if we know another player that would like this type of coach-led trip, can we forward to you? Absolutely, because our recruiting program or process is far from perfect, and I'm sure that we miss good players and good kids. So if you guys know of other kids that would be good for our program, I would love to give them this opportunity. So yes, absolutely, please. Well, does anybody have any other questions? So if you guys are good, I'm good. Oh, for basketball, is there a cap on how many games they can play in a day? I want to say probably 3. I'm trying to think if we had any, and I say that just to cover me, because most likely it'll be 2, but I would hate for you guys to play 3 games and then you come back and say, well, you said I'd only play 2. So I would say probably 3 would be the max, because the tournaments take 3 days. So I'd say 2 to 3 games per day.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, instead of typing.
Yeah, no worries.
I was just looking at the itinerary and I noticed that there's games all throughout the week on Barcelona. Like there's some days that have no games, some days that have one, some days have, but it's not like it's games, and then the rest of the week off. It looks like they sprinkle in games throughout the entire week.
Right. Don't pay attention to that itinerary, because the tournament will be the first 3 days, and then after the tournament's over, then it'll be all sightseeing and cultural stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so no worries. That's just an old itinerary. But so we got less than a minute, so if it cuts me off, it's not me hanging up on you. But I'll if you guys hop on to some other Zooms if you guys have any more questions.
Okay. Thank you.
So, all right, guys. Have a good day. Thank you. Yeah, bye-bye.